Hi, friends. Hello, the world. Welcome back to this episode of podcast Tools for Transitioning Humanitarians. And the tool that I'm going to introduce to you is going to be, I think, one of my best creations yet. So that's why tune in. So the topic that of this tool is it doesn't depend on me tool that we have been using too much, and I really want to show you the consequence of using that tool and what it is doing to us based on the experience that I have had and also analyzed it so much. And I dive it down into very concise form for you to see what has happened and what is the effect of this. It doesn't depend on me mindset. And if it's not serving us, then what can we do? So, just to give you a bit of a context of how this mindset shows up in my client's experience and in my experience as well, right? So, for instance, we say that as humanitarians, we finally want to have all the other parts of our lives happening in addition to our amazing career lives, which we're having. And that life is creating a family or creating a relationship, right? So, and in that relationship, as soon as we start coaching with my clients, they start saying the classic objection that our brains present to us and that my brain present to me as well. That classic objection is, well, as much as I want to do all the things of finding the person I want to or creating a family I want to, but I know that it doesn't depend on me, right? This is the objection or the argument that our brain present to us, and it's so hard to overcome it. It's so hard to counter argue it because our brain is so adamant to say, well, it's so true because it involves two people. In order for me to be with someone, the other person needs to consent and want the same things. Otherwise, obviously, it's weird, and I don't want that, right? So that's one of the contexts. The other context that it keep coming up is the context of where my clients want to go to an interview or to a promotion, to a different job, to transition to something else. But then they start having the same argument saying that even if I want to do all the things and I do all the application and everything, but it still doesn't depend on me because there is a panel of people who decide and they may have already someone, so you know the drill, and then we just don't really go for it, or we go for it in a way that's not really out of full heart and soul. So the same type of situation, like argument that my brain offers all of the time. And here is how I figured out to coach myself on it. And I will present to you also how you can do that. But before you coach yourself, I really want to show you what it is doing to us, what this mindset is doing to us. Because as long as we don't understand the consequences of it or the impact of it, I think we're not going to be able to change it, or we don't want to be able to change it because we just feel like this is the truth of the universe. Why would we change it? And if we do change it, it will look like a as if we're lying to ourselves, right? So that was the same experience for me. So here is what I have realized this mindset does to me when I think about it. One of the first things that it does to me is that it immediately limits myself in a way to say, well, I can only do this much, but the rest doesn't depend on me, instead of going all in on doing whatever thing I want to without limiting myself in any way, right? So that's like the first thing that I see as a negative consequence. The second negative consequence that I see is that it puts me in a waiting type of situation, meaning that like in my heart or in my mind, it's as if I'm like waiting for someone to happen to come, waiting for someone to say yes, or waiting for someone to hire me, or whatever the feeling of waiting, instead of being in this mode of keep going to the next thing in case this doesn't work out, right? So what happens then usually is that when we're in the waiting mode, things don't happen. Somehow universe functions this way, and I don't know why, but when we are in this waiting mode, we get tired of it, we get frustrated about things, we start believing that it's not going to work, we start believing that why bother, who am I kidding, and all of these things start happening when we're in the waiting mode. And then we get graspy, we get needy, and therefore we just actually keep creating the opposite effect of what we want to create. Right? So that is why, like, the second big negative aspect of this mindset that I really want to caution you is you being in this waiting mode. I'm looking at my notes so that I don't miss any parts, because I have really like analyzed it so much. And today I was actually going through in my during my walk as well, how this has been showing up in my own experience. The third negative element that I see of this mindset is delaying. We keep delaying it day by day, meaning that, oh, this is not going to happen today, or this is not going to be soon. It's going to take time. It's going to be another hard change or hard application process or hard dating process, and it's not going to be soon, basically. And therefore, we keep delaying it, and the delaying comes from that mindset of, well, it doesn't really depend on me, so I can't really do anything but keep delaying what I'm doing or keep postponing it because I'm still in the waiting mode, right? And I think what is the fourth, right? Fourth negative aspect of this mindset is it then gives us so much ammunition to give up. It gives us so much ammunition to say, well, it doesn't depend on us. There are so many other people who are out there who are better, who are younger, who are more beautiful, who are more sexy, or whatever, depending on what context we're talking about, right? If it's the dating concept or the interview concept, whatever it is, that we are then start arguing for our worst case scenario by saying, well, we're not going to get what we want anyway, we shouldn't have tried anyway, or whatever the thing it is. And then therefore we want to start convincing ourselves to give up on what we're wanting to do instead of keep exploring other possibilities. And the fifth one, the one that I really don't like, the biggest, in my mind, negative consequence, negative impact, excuse me, of this mindset is when we stop believing in the possibility. When we stop believing that we can actually keep going, that we can actually try the next thing, simply because we just keep telling ourselves that we have done all our best, we did what we could, even though maybe there could be still other things that we could have tried, that we could have thought about, we could have believed. But because we were so busy with waiting mode, delaying mode, and giving up mode, that we now don't even believe in the possibility of it. And therefore, we just want to go back to what we know or to stay where we are and not really pursue what we're really wanting. Right? So think about it. When you have started your career as a humanitarian, right? When you really had this ambition of, oh my God, I want to do this work. I want to do all the best of getting into this world. When you were in that mode, how did you approach it? Did you really approach it with, oh, it doesn't really depend on me? Or you approach it with, oh my God, I'm going to do everything I know how to get to the humanitarian world, right? My experience has always been that whatever I wanted to, I jumped and I went all in. I did everything I could, all the best of what I could to get to what I wanted to. I never thought of sitting around and thinking, oh, it doesn't really depend on me, or I should have this degree, or I should be having this experience, or I should be this type of person to be dating. I never really thought about that. I just wanted to have that so much or be in that job so much or have that experience of building a relationship so much that I just wanted to try so many different things and then seeing where it's working or how it's working. And then I got so much wiser every time, right? So that's why when I say this, you may say then, well, it was then, it's not now because now I have a lot more at stake or I have more experience. So it would be foolish to be going through this and then losing everything or going through this and being disappointed or all of these things, right? That is true that we have now more experience, we have now more things maybe to lose, but also what if that is not the case? Meaning that we have now more experience to actually even be able to handle this more and better because we have the so much experience, because we know that how we have done in the past has worked so well that now we're able to do it even more or in a grander scheme. Because even if we know that it doesn't fully depend on us, how would we gain from actually going all in on ourselves and doing these things, right? Because I don't see any downside of going all in except feeling like we will be disappointed and we will be hurt. But if we don't go all in and do all the things necessary to get to where we want to, we will be disappointing ourselves ahead of time anyway. We will be hurting ourselves ahead of time anyway. It's just that maybe it's not going to be um, after going through this experience, but before. But then we will never learn how to deal with those emotions properly. We will never learn how to honor our like desire so much so that we're willing to go through all of this, but then learn how to get up again, how to recover, and then keep going so that we can get to what we want to. So that's why, my dears, here is my advocacy that I really want to encourage you all to think about is that if we keep the mindset of it doesn't depend on us, I've shown you these are the consequences. These are the downsides of what we're going to be dealing with. And if we don't want to be dealing with this waiting around, delaying, limiting ourselves, always fearing if we get disappointed or not, or like being second guessing of is this possible or not, or keep making ourselves giving up. If we don't want to be busy with that, then it doesn't depend on me mindset is absolutely not useful. Even if our brain argues that it's true, it's still not useful. So instead, what you can do is you can do the same thing as I did. Look at all the ways that this mindset is stopping you from going all in on whatever you want to achieve. Which are the ways that you're being influenced by it? And if you didn't allow that mindset to stop you from going all in, how would you show up and what other things you would be doing and trying on to be going and achieving what you want to, right? What are the other ways you could be trying on and trying to find out solutions to what you're wanting to? What are the possibilities you would be believing? What are the things you would be believing about yourself to be getting to what you want to? And the most important thing, B, that you can ask yourself is how will you gain from going all in on yourself anyway? Even if there's a risk of disappointment, there's a risk of hurt, because then you will learn so much about yourself, about the process and how you um, go through this and how you recover from this so that you can get so much more stronger and create so much more belief in what you are going after that then you will want to go for this one and the next one and then the desires get bigger and higher and then you expand yourself, you expand your capacity to be the person you want to and living the life, and that's what I really want to invite you to work on because the alternative really sucks, and being dependent on someone sucks anyway in the feeling of it. And therefore, excuse me, if you don't want to be in that situation and you don't want to be dealing with those type of consequences of it, then I really suggest consider the alternative of thinking, yes, it may not depend on me, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do everything that is within my power to get to what I want to live the life I want to create relationship I want to, because there is really no other alternative. And I don't want to consider other alternatives of it not happening, of me not being able to do, or whatever the other alternatives that my brain offers. Okay? So, my dears, if you want to work on this and be the person who does not take it doesn't depend on the mindset on board, but rather goes for it fully to get to what you want to, then absolutely come coach with me. I would love to help you be that person and achieving anything that you want to in the time frame, in the terms that you really exactly want to. So send me a message for coaching. Until then, have an amazing week and speak to you very soon.